In 2011, the double hero team of Wild Tiger and Barnaby Brooks Jr. debuted on the scene in Tiger and Bunny. This series was bolstered by a whole range of SH Figuarts, and over 10 years later, with the arrival of Tiger and Bunny 2, a brand new Wild Tiger SH Figuart has burst onto the scene. It's Morphin' Time! Hello, this is Sanat here, and welcome to my review of the SH Figuarts Tiger and Bunny 2 Wild Tiger Style 3. Now this is the start of the new Tiger and Bunny 2 Figuarts, which hopefully goes a long time. Currently we just know about Tiger and Barnaby, and then the Double Chasers coming out later. And we don't know about any of the new heroes, but I do like this new box style. It's got kind of the reminiscence of the previous Tiger and Bunny Figuarts, but I do like the way they've added people name Kotetsu T Kaburagi, company Apollon Media, and next ability 100 Power. It kind of gives them a nice little distinction. But we can see the figure there. We've got the new Bandai Namco logo. And overall, I think the box is nice and energetic. Yeah, energetic's a good word. Because look at all this, comic book style stuff, which is what they did on the old Tiger and Bunny Figuarts, which I always appreciated. And actually, the sides of the boxes are very similar to those old ones. I don't have any of the other boxes available because I do own pretty much every Tiger and Bunny Figuart. So, yeah, no, I would bring out the old boxes, but I can't figure out where they are. The figures have been out for like 10 years. What's interesting, though, is that this is part of the new Figuarts box style, where you actually get accessories on how to swap parts on the inside flaps, as opposed to there being a separate piece of cardboard and then instructions. So if you pull the figure out and look inside, you can see the list of hands is on the other tab. So it's kind of interesting because, well, I just reviewed Figuarts Sakura from Naruto, who came out in the same month, and she still has the old style where there was a piece of cardboard and then you have a separate instruction sheet. But I've noticed this, I think it was Kamen Rider Revi and Vice started doing this, where we have Figuarts, the accessory callouts are here, and so there's no extra paper. It's actually cutting down the amount of paper in the box. And honestly, that's fine. I think that doesn't hurt anything, and actually I kind of like it better. But let's get this guy properly opened up and take a look at him. So here is Wild Tiger Style 3. Now this is his appearance from the Tiger and Bunny 2 anime, which is actually streaming worldwide on Netflix. So anyone who's been wanting to check out Tiger and Bunny, or is just hearing about it now, I really recommend it. It's a show about superheroes who are basically owned by companies, and those companies have sponsors, and they are part of a reality TV show. And it sounds, kind of like a nice send-up of superheroes, but it's also one of the most heartfelt and well-written animes that I've ever seen, and I absolutely love it. The first season was great, and I always wanted a second season, and after 10 years, I finally got it. And honestly, Tiger and Bunny 2 feels like they never missed a beat. It just picks up right where they left off, and it's fantastic. So if you haven't seen it, I really do highly recommend it. But if you have seen it, you'll probably recognize a lot of things about this figure. Namely, this is a new Wild Tiger design. While a lot of the heroes that came back for the second series mostly just got new branding logos for their new sponsors, Tiger and Barnaby, of course being the lead characters, did get new suits. Now there is a Figuart of Barnaby Brooks Jr. Style 3 that is coming out in August, which, yeah, I guess I'm reviewing this in August. But anyways, stay tuned for that review, because I didn't feel like waiting to do both of them together, because I think they're actually kind of a lot more interesting than I thought they would be. So for those wondering, what makes this one different? Well, for one, he's a brand new mold. And I will show a comparison to the other Wild Tigers in a little bit in the video, so stay tuned. But he is a brand new mold. There is no reuse on this guy, and that is actually pretty cool. Let's look at the overall details. So the head here, which is notably larger in scale to the body than the previous Tigers, again, we'll look at a comparison, looks pretty good. It's got a lot of nice detail to it. You can see the Imagination Works, Lawson, and Pac-Man logos on Tiger. I love the Pac-Man logo, having Pac-Man on it. And then just some really nice paintwork across the chest, adding in all those green details. And then also, I loved, when they did this on the old ones, but they still do it, the clear overlay over the mechanical detail inside his arms. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't come with any accessories for his grapple wires, but maybe that'll be coming with a later figure, because that seems to be Figuarts' thing sometimes. They will include accessories with other figures because they spend the money on the tooling or something. Anyways, really nice paintwork on the legs. It does seem like a different color paint. It's less pearlescent, so hopefully that will not discolor over time. And yeah, they even painted little green stuff on the bottom of his feet. On the back as well. I mean, just incredible paint detail overall. And honestly, yeah, I mean, that's like the best part about this figure is that he is so incredibly detailed that matches sort of the animation model. Now, in terms of articulation, he's got a ton more than the previous Wild Tigers. So first of all, neck is on a ball joint. It's got 2 layers to it, but I found the upper neck doesn't do as much as the lower neck does, and his collar does get in the way. So he's not going to be looking up or anything. That's just due to the design. He's got shoulders that move 360. They move out. They rotate. You can even see they painted the silver under the shoulder pad, which is great. He's got a double joint elbow, a little restricted, but that's just kind of the nature of the design. Wrists that pivot and move around. Actually, I didn't check. Yeah, these do come off, so maybe we will get the wires at a different stage with a different figure. Again, Figuarts tends to do that. But what was really cool I found was that he has a forward shoulder joint. So it's not a full butterfly because it doesn't go back, but it does pull forward, which actually gives him a lot more range of movement. It also makes him look really strange, and you can see through his body there when you have it fully pulled forward, but that'll be really helpful when we do some poses. Upper torso ball joint, lower torso ball joint, hips that move out, they sort of shift down. So what's interesting is that it's not the old style Figuarts hips where they just pull down. It's sort of the new style, but they do also pull down so they can move out a little farther. But that's about the farthest range you're getting, which is not too bad. The legs do move forward, they do move back, they have a thigh swivel, they got a double joint knee, and then down here at the ankle you can move up and down, left and right, and bend the toe. So pretty good movement overall. I think it's probably one of the more articulated figures from this line. Now, of course, what good is articulation without accessories? And he does come with quite a few hands. And for whatever reason, Bandai packed them in individual little trays, which made it easier to look at. But that being said, we're going to slap these on the figure and see how they look. He, of course, comes with the 2 fists that are the defaults. These work really well for Tiger since he's kind of that rough and tumble punchy kind of guy. So he's got a pair of extended thumb hands, which means he can point to himself, or he can give you a thumbs up. He comes with a pair of hands to dramatically point at criminals that are escaping, or you can have him give him finger guns to somebody. He has open palm hands, so you can simulate him running in a very comedic fashion, or you can have him pretend to mock Barnaby, calling him a little bunny. He also has a set of nice open relaxed hands. Plus, he's got some nice dramatic open hands. The hand assortment honestly complements his articulation really well and makes this for a really nicely very nice, well-rounded figure. However, that's not the only thing he comes with. So the last accessory is kind of a nice little bonus, which requires us to remove Kotetsu's head. And his neck, his whole neck. And that is Kotetsu's unmasked head, or, unhelmeted head, because he's still wearing his mask. This is a pretty nice inclusion. Previously, the Tiger and Bunny Figuarts did do unmasked or face-open versions, but they're always some kind of promo item. So to get this as an alternate part is really nice. So you can see the actual mold lines for the mask and beard, which is very nice, and you can see his eyes there. Now, obviously, if you have him at an angle with the light above him in any way, yeah, the eyes are going to get a little shadowed, but it's a pretty nice head sculpt, and you can still articulate it. Now, if you do want the version where it's the helmet, but with his face showing through, kind of like, the old Iron Man designs used to do that, that is a part that'll be included with the Double Chaser, which is a reissue of their bike with some new paint details. And yeah, I think it's going to be kind of the case, because there is no parts for Hyper Good Luck mode or anything else in terms of the wires. So maybe future Figuarts will include those parts as bonuses, because that tends to be how Figuarts runs. They sort of guarantee the sales of supporting characters by including main character accessories with them. But even as missing, sort of extra stuff, I think having the unmasked head and all the hands and the posability makes for a very nicely well-rounded figure. But how does he stack up to the Wild Tigers of the past? So here's Wild Tiger Style 3 with the original Style 1 Wild Tiger from 2011. Now this guy didn't come with these hands. These hands came with a later version. Like I said, parts boxes are not currently available. This guy actually only came with 2 extra hands, but he came with the giant Good Luck mode fist, so it sort of balanced out. But as you can see, the proportions are quite a bit different. These are pretty on model because they did update the models for Tiger and Bunny 2. But I will notice that the head is a lot larger in proportion to the shoulders, which makes for a nicer proportion action figure, I think, than this one. But it is a little jarring having them side by side because you're like, oh wow, the proportions are so different on this guy compared to this one. The legs don't look as long because the torso is longer, and then the shoulder pads aren't as wide. So it kind of is a big refinement, I think, in a lot of ways. But you can see that they are distinctively supposed to be the same hero. Now, one thing you will notice is that there is no Tamashii stand for Tiger Style 3. All the previous Tiger and Bunny Figuarts, regardless if they were exclusive retail or event exclusive or whatever, they all came with specific Tamashii stages that had the hero name plus the civilian name for each character. And it's kind of a shame that it seems like the current, the new Tiger and Bunny 2 Figuarts won't have those. It's not so much a problem with Tiger Style 3 because I can put him, you know, on like an older Wild Tiger base. But in terms of like the other future possible heroes, it is going to kind of suck for consistency, but I can understand that maybe budgets have shifted. That being said, it would have been nice to have seen some extra Tamashii stages to go with them, just for consistency's sake. But speaking of consistency, we had another release of the original Wild Tiger, which was Wild Tiger 1 Minute, and this one is essentially the same mold, but this one came with the actual wire accessory. There was a basic version of the wire included with the original Wild Tiger Figuart, but this one actually has the wire on it. So I could see maybe something like that if there is a last-minute secondary version of Wild Tiger in Season 2, like there was in Season 1. Just for consistency, here is H01, which is a version of Wild Tiger that was a quote-unquote dark version, which you can see they're quite a bit different in colors-wise, but this was still mostly the same old mold. And then here's Wild Tiger's original suit when he worked at Top Mag as opposed to Apollon Media. This is affectionately known as the crap suit, and this is his original superhero suit versus his most recent one. So he's really come up a long way in the superhero suit world. And then lastly, we have Wild Tiger Style 2 from Tiger and Bunny The Rising. So you can kind of see that they still have, you know, very refined the design. I think that the Rising designs, the Style 2s for Tiger and Barnaby, were a bit more intricate because of movie budgets, so it's nice to see it's a little bit more streamlined, kind of back to some of the original, because I felt like there's a little maybe too much detail on these guys. But you can kind of see that there is, you know, still an evolution. It's nice to see that while this is, you know, probably like the 10th Wild Tiger figure, because I'm not including other versions I don't have with different logos or with different accessories, this is still a brand new design and a brand new figure. Now, while he could work with the original Double Chaser bike, this being the Tiger side, like he's scaled properly, there's no holding hands that come with Tiger. They'll come with the new Double Chaser, which is seeming like the same mold as the old one, just with some new decals for the new company logos. But in terms of like, okay, this thing doesn't stand well on its own. In terms of trying to use the old Double Chaser with the new Figuarts, you could, but you're going to have to swap hands over from another Wild Tiger. It doesn't come with anything in the box, which is a little bit of a bummer, because I'm still not sure if I want to buy the other Double Chaser, since, you know, two bikes that combine together is kind of an expensive purchase, and I don't know if I need the face-open versions, but yeah, if you are trying to use the old Double Chaser with this, it'll work. You're just going to need to swap over hands from another Wild Tiger. If you're looking for this guy or any other Tiger and Bunny merch, be sure to check out HobbyLink Japan using the link in the description below to help support the channel. So overall, while he doesn't have every accessory he possibly could, I think that Wild Tiger Style 3 is still quite a good figure. The extra articulation and the extra hands, especially over previous Wild Tigers that were lacking in the hand department, is pretty nice, and overall, I'm pretty happy with him. He also makes a nice addition in case you're kind of like me and collected all the heroes from the previous Figuarts line. So while I would like to see pretty much everybody get a version 2, because I think they all deserve it, these figures, most of these are like over a decade old. It did take them several years to make all the heroes from Tiger and Bunny, and some of them were Premium Bandai exclusive because of that. So I'm not exactly expecting the rest of the supporting cast to get figures. But I hope at the very least we at least get Magical Cat, Mr. Black, and He Is Thomas, because those are at least the new heroes to supplement all of these, in addition to the Style 3 Barnaby that isn't here yet, so Style 2 is standing in. But that does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe and the notification bell, and leave a comment down below and let me know if you would like to see a retrospective on the Tiger and Bunny Figuarts line, as I clearly own a whole lot of it. I would actually kind of like to do a video. Let me know if you want to see something like that. Also, be sure to stay tuned because I will be reviewing Barnaby hopefully soon, as well as other figures in the future. And check out anything on the channel you may have not. And if this is your first time, I do plenty of reviews of all kinds of different toys, as well as history and retrospectives, and videos about Blu-rays and DVDs, so check it out if you haven't had the chance. And also be sure to check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for anime news and more, and my awesome graphic designer on Twitter at darkclaw643. And until next time, this is Sanat saying goodbye.